Well, hello again. This is going to be the second part of our American Girl doll bed, bunk beds, and we're going to try to finish it up this week. So what I've gotten done so far, let's go back and review last week a little bit. We made the head and foot boards and assembled them, and I just finished gluing them up last night, and now I'm ready to take the clamps off and we'll check them out and see how they look. Okay, I've got a couple of them laid out here. I'm going to take the clamps off and take a look and see how they turn out. There we go. There, that looks a little better. What I'm running right now is some little support blocks for the rails on the bunk beds. I borrowed an idea from one of you YouTubers. Don't remember which one of you it is, but the idea is that if you take a pencil and put the eraser on the little short chunk that you're going to cut off with your sled on the table saw, then you can keep your fingers back out of the way. Well, you know, it works pretty good. My plan is to attach these blocks to the upright pieces of the headboard just underneath the rails, and I'm going to use a dowel to give it more strength where it goes into the upright piece on the headboard. What I've done here is made a little V-block jig temporarily here that I can hold these little blocks in place while I drill the hole, and hopefully it'll come out the way I want it to. Before we put our blocks in, we have to find the exact location on the headboard. So what I've done is I have set up where I want to have my block setting, and I've taken my square and drawn a line across the inside of the headboard. Next I will put a little piece across here of scrap wood just to kind of hold everything in place while we make the next step, which is that I use one of these little center point deals. You stick it in the dowel hole that you're going to match up with, and the center point then will give you a place where you can drill your hole. So now the thing I'll do is set it up against my temporary block. I'll put another one against the leg like this, and then kind of holding it in place, I will press it down and we'll make the exact spot where we're supposed to drill our hole. The second step of mounting these little blocks on the legs or upright pieces is to mark where we want to match them up on the leg, and then we've set them up in our jig, which is a different jig than the one we used for cutting the blocks, and now we'll drill a hole into the leg in the proper spot. Sort of looks like Clamp City over here right now. What I've got going on, the glue is all set up here on the support blocks that go underneath the bed rails, and I'm about ready to take the clamps off, and so we'll see how everything looks. What did I do? Forget to put glue on that one? Look at that, I did. I thought I was all done. Imagine that. That one's glued. Well, I guess we'll put them back and put some glue on it and put it back in the clamp. Starting to look like a doll bed here. We've got it stacked up here, just dry fit to see how it's going to go together. And next I'm going to fasten the rails to the headboard and footboard. I tore everything back down, and now I'm getting ready to screw things together and glue the attaching parts for the bed rails. And the one thing that I've noticed is that it's going to be really critical that everything be absolutely square. And if it's not, then the two bunks are not going to sit on top of one another properly. And so I've got a crazy looking octopus set up here for squaring everything up so that it'll be as close as possible, and then there'll still be some error that we can't foresee. Now, while I'm waiting for the glue to set up, I'm going to go ahead and cut the panels for the mattress to lay on. And that's getting close to the end here. Don't give up on me. Well, there's the last clamp up for the project. Got the platform glued in for the mattress to lay on, and after the glue dries, why, we can double check, make sure everything fits one on top of the other, so that they're interchangeable from top to bottom bunk without any problem. Now, the finishing touches I put on this thing was to put in some deck screws through the end upright into the rail. I was just not quite happy with the strength that I had. Even though I put those blocks down there, it still didn't seem quite strong enough. So here I'm putting the last screw in, and we'll be done. There we go. That was pretty slick. Well, the last thing I kind of kept as a secret until the final finale. This whole thing was made from scrap wood that I took out of a pallet one time. It's a mixture of all sorts of different grades of wood, different species, different grain varieties. But the only thing that didn't come out of the pallet was the piece of plywood that I put in for the mattress to set on. Otherwise, the whole thing came from a pallet. That's about it for this week. We've wrapped it up in 2 sessions like I was planning. And next week, I'm not quite sure what we'll be doing, but I think what we'll be tackling is a spice rack for, going above the cooking range in the kitchen to hold various sizes of spices. Most of them come pretty much in standard sizes, but there are some that are taller and some that are bigger around. So we have to take that into consideration. So that's it for now. See you next week. Hope you have a good weekend.